Hello and welcome back to Once Upon a Time in PatORG, the companion podcast to PatORG Season 25. Welcome to Hollywood, an all star season. My name is Danny. I'm one of the hosts from PatORG Season 24, and joining me today is the lovely Nico. How are you, Nico?
I'm doing well, really excited to be here. Excited to be doing a Jura version of one of these. This will be my first one. So yeah, this is really fun. Looking forward to it.
Yes, so fun and exciting. And speaking of, the second member of our jury is joining us today. Please welcome everyone, EJ. EJ, how are you?
What's good, John? Thank you for having me. I am great. Um, Very salty, obviously, that I got picked out, but it's an honor. It's an honor to be here.
Yeah, I mean, you it was so exciting watching you play, and we're so happy to
Thank
have you here
you.
to talk about your game. Um, but let's start sort of at the beginning. What did you expect when you first started the season with 23 other players and you saw the cast reveal? Were there any preseason expectations? Was there anyone that you were expecting to see from your season? And who did you think that you could work with, and who did you think was maybe not someone you wanted to see?
I knew without a doubt that Shay and Steven were going to be back to very crucial parts of our season, I feel, like entertainment wise. Shay is just entertaining in general, as I'm sure you guys know.
Mm-hmm.
Steven, both of them are great players. Steven is just such a good player as well. I had the pleasure of working. So I felt pretty confident to be here. Did think Christina, and this is probably my bias because I worked with her as well, but I thought she would be here. I was surprised to see Justin from my season, but I had a pretty good time with Justin, Shay, and Steven, so I knew that I was going to be able to. However, I never expect literally anything else. Like in a day, I joined the service,
So,
so I had no lead on nobody else.
so you came in sort of unfamiliar with anyone that wasn't on
Yeah,
social media with you.
literally. Yep.
That can be exciting too.
It was exciting, but also like I'm like I probably should have played. I should have like went back. We had access to the older seasons, and I should have like used that to my advantage. But,
Hmm.
It's a lot of work revisiting all that though, isn't it? Uh, yeah, there's so much to. I have one question though. Obviously, one person that you worked with quite closely on your
mhm.
season. Before we get into like a bit of a recap, if you're happy to give us one, was Raury. Were you surprised, or if he was to be on, what would your relationship with
Hold
him
on,
have
y'all.
been likely?
Okay, sorry, I missed the question. Getting the call. Just my phone in DND. Can you repeat that? You said somebody that I worked with.
Of course. So you worked quite closely with Rory in your original season, and ultimately he wasn't on this season. What would you have expected your relationship to have been like with him had he been on the cast? Like, obviously that was someone that cut you in the end, and you ultimately didn't end up voting for him. So I was wondering if he were to be cast on this season, where would you have been at with that?
What a great question. I really like Rory, like as a person, and I think like outside the game, if we ever met up, it would be lit. We would hang out. Mhm. I think just for the sake of us being in the same season, we would have worked together, much like Justin, Shay, Steven, and I. Mhm. However, just like I was moving with Justin, I had like Justin was an easy vote to get rid of out of my season because not only was he somebody that also cut me because honestly I am kind of petty, but more importantly, like it would show my allegiance to the other people. So Rory would have been in that same boat. I would have loved to work with him, but and like if we were on the same like, pre-merge terms, I think it would have been good. But he would have been in the same situation as Justin B for me, which was despicable.
That's fair enough. So I did kind of cut ahead with obviously how your season ultimately kind of goes towards the end. Would you mind giving us a bit of a recap of your original season and like what that whole journey was like for you?
Yeah. So I had no idea what to expect. I said this before. like via text, but I like thought this shit was gonna be like Squid Games. I got invited via random DM stranger, which was Patrick. And this is around the time Squid Games was out, and I was like, "Is this shit real? I'm gonna die." And I'm so curious, like tune in. Um, so I didn't know what to expect. I never heard anyone about this stuff. Um, and I didn't think it was going to be as robust as it was, to be honest with you. But that was my perception going in. And originally, I was aligned with this dude, Brand, who was apparently at the bottom for being a weirdo. Uh, and I was blindsided by his vote, which was like, oh shit. And that was the like second or first vote. I'm like, oh shit, like I'm on the wrong side of the numbers. And then it was a swap. So I went from wrong side of the numbers to a swap tribe where the three of us from our original tribe, me, Steven, and Christina, were on the bottom as well as far as um, and I say this all the time. I owe so much of my game to Christina and Steven for not only bringing me into the fold, but we had a strong and powerful alliance. So after the first swap, well, it was only one swap. So after the swap, I was pretty Steven, Christina, the three of us were idle hunt. I think two of us. I don't know if Christina gets it there. Steven got an idol. Christina got an idol too, and I got an extra vote. Um, we used that to like get further in the game, and by the time we made it to the merge, three of us, and I mean, shit, we got rid of Jake. Um, what was his name? Will, um, and Ariel. I think the three of us had a big hand in orchestrating those votes. Um, and my role was pretty interesting because I was in this alliance with the two of them. Steven was a spy, so he was in the bigger alliance, which we ended up like picking off of. And on top of that, I had like my game has always been like 100% social. Like I'm not that good at challenges unless it's a team thing. Um, so like just like being myself and making connections was kind of what got me suggesting and was able to use him to further our agenda as an alliance. Um, and Raury was like another part of my alliance, but he wasn't necessarily with Christina and Steven. So use those numbers to my advantage. Christina had Ray, and I realized Christina had like a good amount of numbers, and unfortunately, what broke the three was me blindsiding Christina and Steven to get Christina out. I used Justin, Raury, um, and the fact that I knew where the other votes were going, because of Steven being a spy, I used that to get Christina out. Um, and around that time is when I was like, and I literally did that because I was like, damn, Christina has some good ties and people that will fuck with her. And when that happened, that's when I was like, I think I can win this game if I make it to the finals. Um, and then as time went on, didn't do that great in individual challenges, but continued to kind of use my social game and my numbers game to my advantage and made it to the final four, which I think is my biggest mistake was voting out Steven. I should have voted out like Justin or Ray, um, because then I would have had a fighting chance to get in the final three. Um, and eventually it turned into the three of them, Justin, Ray, and Raury. I think Raury threw my name out. Um, Raury was straight up like, yo, I don't have a shot at winning if I take you with me, which game wise is totally understandable. But I was like, what the fuck? Like, we had a final two. Um, which is fake news. I always get pissed about that. But yeah, we had the final two, and they made the honestly the right choice because, to be frank, I think I would have won that season had they not voted me out. I'm still talking about it.
All very impressive stuff. Like a lot of big moves there. And of course, you come into this game with the Player of the Season title under your belt.
Thank you.
Um, but how did your game compare this time around to your old game? Were there any sort of similarities or any big differences that you saw?
Yeah, for sure. I think similarities was social game felt good, just like connecting with people on a personal level. However, I did not rate I didn't have as good as a read on everything when it came time to the merge as I did last time. And I also usually I use my confessional to like dig somebody out that's pissing me off, but I was like, I just was so annoyed at this like team 10 kind of style of gaming that Kris was playing. Oh, and I was like, is this real life? Like, I don't know. I didn't. I just thought that was so fucking weird. So I like went up and maybe Target. Also think, and that is a really big difference because I am kind of disarming and threatening virtually as well, um, which is true. I thrive in conflict. You know what I mean? So it's easy for me to kind of pursue that, and I decided to pursue that and show that side of myself, which I definitely should have kept under wraps to make it further in the game. And what's the same I was unable to kind of hide how tactical and of a player I was and kind of how much of a threat I guess I was. I don't think I was a threat this season, but I guess they thought I was. Because last season I played, I was on the bottom, I didn't know shit, and I really did, and that really helped this season. Where a lot of people have spectated me and saw me play and saw me want to play in the season and saw me be close to winning. I think that all of us came in as all of us are essentially targets, but I think they see me with the combination of Shay and Steven being a threesome um, as a big threat. So I think I couldn't like toss stones and hide my hands like I did my original season or my first season.
Yeah, I mean, that is what happens in an all-star season. It's kind of a different way around. People might have some familiarity with you, or you might have familiarity with them. There's some pre-bonds that maybe are there that obviously you wouldn't have it going into this fresh when I'm guessing a lot of you guys were not coming from the orc community first time around. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Another change this season is obviously the twist with the Hollywood sign. What was your kind of take and your thoughts on the Hollywood sign as a whole and everything that came with it?
Yeah, good question. I it was excuse me okay. I guess it was okay because I didn't get an advantage. I just knew the sign was going to be an advantage. Um, which it was sometimes, but not when I went. Um, it was dope to be safe, which was obviously amazing. And you kind of could take a day off is what I was thinking of it like. Uh, and the genre thing was pretty like entertaining. Um, and that extra vote that we got, I think Andrew sent it to Sarah when that was just the craziest probably Survivor or experience I ever had was that vote when we voted out Daniel, I think.
Hmm.
That was like the most clutch moment, in my opinion, for my game. Even though we didn't necessarily need the extra vote, but that was hella clutch that we got that extra vote to secure the blind side of Daniel and not get me out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do understand what you mean, and you did go to the sign and then like sort of had the day off, so that must have been
Hmm.
really nice for you. Um,
Definitely.
and you talked about this move that happened in the pre-jury. Run us through your pre-jury game in as much detail as you're happy to, and how you think you were set up to enter the merge.
My pre-merge game. So like both swaps, you saying? Can you repeat the question? I'm sorry. I don't
Yeah,
think it's
so
anymore.
like your game before you got to the merge.
Hmm.
Give us the story on that, and then how did that set you up coming into the merge?
Sure. So the first swap, I don't remember the second one. Oh, I think that was Shay. The first swap was no, we had three swaps. So we had the three tribes originally. Um, that was let me go to my spam page so I can run my memory back.
No problem.
That was okay. Got it. Who was I with? I met. Okay, yeah. So I had connected with Daniel, Henry, Nelson. Oh, and I was on the tribe with Shay. Yeah, so that was cool. I obviously knew Shay, and I like the first thing I did was like, oh my god, I can't believe you're here. Oh my god, I'm so happy that we're in the same tribe. And I was just like, yo, one of my biggest regrets is that we didn't work together. We were on two different alliances because me and Shay genuinely clicked. Like even when we were at odds, even when I voted her out, even when I wrote her name down several times, like Shay is just such a dope person, and unlike me, she don't take this shit personal. So I was like, "Yo, I want to work with you. Let's make it to the end together, as well as Steven." So I already knew I had that in the bag, and I knew Justin was there, so I thought that would be good for us as well, a season 21 thing. Even though I say he was expendable or dispendable or whatever. So I was just like playing a mad social game and trying to do as much as I can to contribute to the team wins, which was clutch because I think we only went to one tribal and we got rid of O if I'm not mistaken. And then after that we had the swapped. I think we were still we swapped into two tribes, and that's when I met Seats, which was Stanley, Sarah, Talia, Andrew, and myself, and Gabriel. So it was Seats plus Gabriel that honestly helped save me, and I was on the club with Clara, Daniel, Nelson, as well. Again, purely social here. Tried my best to do challenge stuff, but we got creamed every single time. I believe we went to so many tribals, um, which was clutch because we broke up the Clara, Jess, Nelson Daniel situation, but aligning myself with Seats and Gabe, and like Gabe and Sarah and Andrew were out of those people I like connected with personally a lot. It was kind of crazy. Sarah saying she was like a fan of me. I felt so I don't want to say weird. I don't know. It's just like me, you know what I'm saying? But it was dope. It was really cool to have that. Um, that was when I was like, damn, I can't trust Nelson. And from that moment, I knew I couldn't fucking trust Nelson. And I still went on to, I still didn't trust him in these last few votes. And obviously I was right, but it was nothing much I could do about it by the time it came to. Um, but Nelson and Daniel writing my name down, I was like, oh shit, because I connected with both of them in our original trials. We talked every day. Um, but again, this is where my lack of prior season knowledge came in and like hurt me. Um, because the only thing I went off of was looking at who was from what season. Like when I first saw the cast list, I looked at who was in what season together. I looked at all of the winners, and my initial plan was to get all of the winners out because those are going to be easy first targets. I also wanted to do like a player of the season alliance, player of the season slash fan favorite alliance, come merge. Um, and yeah, I just completely underestimated the bond of season. I think season 24, to be quite honest with you, like was the biggest hurdle that I had to tackle. I thought Stanley would be a good number because he was the only person from season 19 left, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. But that completely blew up in my face. Um, Finding out that he was like low key a spy, even though I wasn't telling him nothing. Um, so that was kind of my pre-merge game, and how did I set myself up? Uh, I think like just like very small moments, like, and I just should have like pursued them more. Now that I'm thinking of it, like I was in a challenge chat with Justin B and DeLuca, and we like after our challenge, we just like chatted for like 30 extra minutes. And I was like, perfect. I think this could be something that I could use. But I didn't follow up on the DeLuca thing because I realized after our first vote, she was like tied to Kris heavily after our first merge vote. So it was like, shit, it's nothing I can do for real, for real. Um, and I don't regret voting Justin out. I don't I think I don't know. There was just no that I saw that I could keep Justin, Steven, and Shay and still have the loyalty of Andrew. Um, and again, at the time, I thought Stanley was 100% with me. So I was like, okay, Justin is the most expendable. I'm closest game wise with Shay and Steven. So that was the tough decision, but it did have to be done. Um, so I think just like socially setting myself up, honest to God, I wish I paid closer attention to the idol shit I don't know what I was doing, but I was not thinking straight for real. So yeah, that was annoying.
Okay,
I
well,
hope that answers the question.
yeah, no, that was really helpful. Thank you. So
Yeah.
that obviously was your pre-merge game, and you do make the merge. You mentioned about a potential sort of fan favorite play of the season alliance. What were your sort of things once you'd arrived at the merge? Obviously, everyone's together now. You can do whatever combination of things you want to do if you can obviously pull it off. What were your plans at this stage going forward? How did you see the game going from here on out?
Um, Man, I saw me making it to the fucking finals. Other than that, wait, y'all, I'm screaming. Okay, I literally just saw that Kris is in the fucking jury. I'm screaming. Okay,
Oh,
sorry.
spoiler
Let me
alert.
focus. Oh, I'm sorry. Is that?
No,
Okay,
no, no,
no.
no, no.
Oh, okay. I'm
For
like, oh
the
shit.
people listening.
Um. Okay. What was my plan coming to the merge? Okay, so my plan, obviously, Stephen Shea. That was my like top three. So initially, like honest to God, because I didn't realize that Holly and Stanley were rats. I was like, I'm gonna play in between both of these alliances. I'm gonna play in between my Season 21 alliance, and I'm gonna play in between seats. Um, and I just underestimated Kris. To be very honest with you, I'm screaming that he's voted out. Um, and I was like, eventually I'm gonna have to turn on one of them. But like between the two of us, we had the numbers. And I honestly was like, I could play this like I did my original season, and I could be in between like as if I am the bridge between two groups of people, I am the one kind of empowered, just like I was the bridge between Justin as a number for us. Justin and Raury, I was the bridge between those two and Steven, Christina, and Ray. So I was kind of in control of where our votes should lie. And it, you know, proved that as much when I was able to blindside Steven and Christina. So I thought I was going to be able to do that this time. Um, and honestly, like, I just think that I am so salty. I was so salty because, like, they bested me at my game. Like, they social gamed me the fuck up, said hi to me every single day, and not just like hi because that's bullshit, but like actually talking every single day. Like you can talk to somebody about bullshit, and it's just like okay, this is whatever. But like just actually genuinely talking to people, getting to know them, getting to know their wakes of life, and finding out y'all similarities, and like um using that to my advantage, or using that to their advantage to get me out of the game. So things didn't go as planned for me, but yeah, my original plan was to kind of play in between both of those alliances, use my social game, and kind of outlast everybody.
Ultimately, you do get voted out as the second juror. How do you feel specifically about your tribal, and is there anything that you wish you did differently that round?
Uh, this round, the round that I got voted out in,
Yeah.
absolutely. I probably would not have like. I was just so pissed that Shay got voted out. I was more so pissed that like our plan didn't work. Um, and I probably would not have blown up on Kris in public, probably. Like, I probably should not have done that in the tribe chat because I think that put a target on my back. I think I probably should never even talk to him, his weird ass. I think, like, prior to that, he was looking at Steven and Andrew as threats. Um, and I think that he filled people's head of me being a threat because like my likability, which I totally get, like that's a part of my game to be honest with you, but it's not just game. I think that's just how I genuinely present myself. So he's not wrong there, but I don't think I'm that big of a threat when it comes to like game stuff, like challenge stuff. Like I'm not confident I'm gonna win challenges all the time. I think this last challenge, I'm so salty I was voted out because movies are my thing. I would have did so good. Um, but I'm not a challenge beast. So I think Steven and Andrew were higher on Chris and his minions' list until I went at him and publicly, so of course he had to make a statement is what I think that was. So I definitely would not have done that. Um, I as soon as I got word that Stanley was throwing my name out, which was during the Justin vote, I should have stopped. I think I did stop talking game with him for real, but the biggest mistake I swear to God that I feel like I made, I was drunk AF and I was on Discord and Stanley was talking to me about the vote, and I was like, dude, I don't like Kris. I want to go for Kris. I'm sorry. Like, don't tell nobody. That was, in my opinion, the biggest mistake that I ever made in my entire life. Even though they're like, no, no, like I think Kris still knew he was a target. Like, I just showed my cards, knowing that Stanley was somebody that I could not trust. I should have never did that. So, those are two things that I would have changed.
Obviously, you've just brought up those two specific things, but just looking back on your game as a whole, what were things that maybe you were either proud of or you otherwise regret? Obviously, you've just given us two examples, but yeah, just looking more broadly at everything, looking back now, what kind of comes up in your mind as either the parts of your game that you're like, yeah, I did that, versus like, why did I do that?
So like the parts that I'm proud of, you saying?
Yeah.
Oh my God, what am I proud of? I feel like nothing. No, I'm just playing. Um, I am proud of the connection that I feel like, and I definitely downplayed this in chats with everybody, but like, and it's like I almost downplayed it to myself, but my social game literally saved me come the first swap tribe. Like, I was out of town in Memphis. I had got really lit that Friday night, and I didn't wake up until an hour before tribal, or maybe 30 minutes before tribal. And had I not planted such great seeds, social seeds within Sarah, I don't think that I would have been saved, to be honest with you. I think I would have been voted out, and I'm really proud of how I was able to accomplish that, socially and tactically. Like I didn't just like bring up game and sit down to dinner first. I was just like, yo, like I vibe with you. I think you're cool, and if you're down, I would love to work with you. And I think that was a great moment for me because I legit would have been voted out the game. And, I was able to be a part of the majority vote um, when it came time to get out Jess, get out Clara. Um, I think, yeah, those two people. So I was really proud of that. I was also really, really proud of how I performed with Andrew in that one challenge. I forgot what it was. Oh, the letter thing. That was really dope. I was proud of myself for the diffusing a bomb challenge. I was proud of myself for handling that fucking puzzle at the sign. I did that all by myself. I tried so hard to cheat. I was like, I cannot find any help. I looked at YouTube videos and that didn't even help. I literally legit did that by myself. Not cheat for real, I'm joking. But I like tried hard to like get an edge in that challenge or that puzzle. And that's why I was so pissed that it wasn't it wasn't an advantage, it was a damn genre. I was like, I did all of this work. I didn't do any work at work, but I did 2 hours of work on this damn puzzle for nothing. So those are proud moments for me. Also, I think I orchestrated the Justin B vote, and I don't think that hurt my game at all. Like, I just there's not a world where me, Justin, Shay, and Steven would have still been there. One of the four of us were getting out, and I needed it to be. I needed it not to be Steven and Shay. Um, so yeah, those are moments that I'm really proud of, and I think helped further me in the game.
We
Awesome.
love to hear it.
Um, Now that you've made the merge, you're also a juror, and you will be one of the people voting for the winner at the end of this game. Could you give
Mhm.
us a ranking right now of the remaining players in the game in terms of who you are most likely to vote for to win if they make the final tribal council?
For sure. Let me look at the list. Okay, so Steven number one, Andrew number two. I hate everybody else. No, I'm just playing. Henry would be number three. Um, and then this is where it gets difficult because kind of do hate everybody else. But seeing as how Kris is currently in the jury, like as of like 20 minutes ago, I would say, and it looks like it was a unanimous vote. I would say honestly, like after those, I don't know how many people I just named, but after them, I would be looking at DeLuca. I would be looking at Nelson, like in that order. Um, and then Gabriel and Lily, and then Talia, and then Peter, and then Stanley. Yeah, that's everybody.
Okay, so that's like your ranking.
Yeah,
What do you look for in a winner? Like what are your qualities for who gets your vote?
that's a good question. Did they piss me off? Um, to be frank, like Justin got my vote because Raury was the one that initiated putting my name out. And more importantly, not just that, Raury was the one that I final two with. I didn't have a final two with nobody else. If I did, I lied about it. But Raury was the one that I have full trust in. And like, I do know that this is Survivor, but like, don't tell, like, the way that I play, I'm not gonna tell a lie that I can't, that's gonna like hurt me. I am gonna lie, like we are gonna lie game, but I'm not gonna tell a lie that like it's gonna bite me in the ass. And Rory still won something. Did it bite him in the ass? I don't know, but you know what I'm saying. He didn't get me a vote for that. But I look at if you piss me off or not, and then after that, I look at gameplay. Like that's why, like to be honest with you, Nelson and DeLuca were gonna be as low as Stanley on my list. Stanley isn't doing shit, so there's just no way he get my vote. Um, but the fact that Kris has been voted out is like, okay, they are not hitching onto the Kris bandwagon like I thought they were. They were using him as a shield, which I knew that was the plan, but I was just like, how long is this going to last? Like, this is stupid. So I'm really curious to see how the game goes now. But yeah, your actual gameplay, like, and also like the lies that you told, like, were they worth something? You know what I mean? Like, were you lying to just lie? Did your lies kind of bite you in the butt? Or did you plant little seeds of doubt and mistrust to further yourself without actually getting your hands super dirty? I think that's such a great game. And I think Justin B from my original season did a good job at that. You know what I'm saying? Like he did lie a little bit, but he didn't lie enough to where people were like, "You're the reason I got voted out. You lied to me." And I think that's very like that's a smart player. Um, yeah, so I'm super interested to see who makes it to the final three.
So obviously we are in the unique position where you've found out sort of like while speaking with us who's coming to join you in
And
Ponderosa. Um, so had you not seen that, humour me here because I feel like I know what you're going to say. But where would Kris have ranked amongst the list in terms of who you're
Kris
most
would
likely
have
to vote?
been on the bottom of the fucking list. Are you kidding me? Literally, I like already had my question. I was like, if Kris make it to the final three, my question was going to be, I am not voting for you. Period. That's literally going to be my question to Kris. And my question for the other two is, why should I vote for Kris? Because I was going to be petty and be bored. But yeah, there's no way in the world that Kris is going to be at the top of my list. Um, like I appreciate a good villain on like TV to an extent, but like I still be hating them. You know what I mean? Like I still hate them, and I'm still not gonna root for them. And it really gave like Russell Hands vibes. Like you doing all of this when you could just play the game normally at your big age and you know make it to the end. Like everybody is gonna lie, cheat, and steal, but it's like a fine line. I feel. So yeah, Kris would have not came close to getting my vote. He would have been right there under Stanley.
Well, real quick before we go to your final thoughts, I wanted to ask a question about your final words,
Okay.
which were sort of sent on the Notes app.
Yep.
What were you sort of hoping your final words would accomplish as you were leaving the game?
Dude, to get Kris the hell out of there. And I don't know if I played a role in that or what, but it worked. It should. I'm gonna say it did. Um, to get Kris the hell out of there, to also kind of expose a couple people's games. Um, so like I wanted to plant the seeds of doubt upon Stanley, upon Nelson, upon Talia because they are snakes. Um, and also I wanted to like people like Stanley, people like Peter, and people like Gabe. Like I wanted them to think like I'm a jury vote. And I'm important to an extent. Like I'm not finna talk, like I'm not all 12 votes, but I'm one of the 12 or however many it's gonna be. Um, and I'm like, why do you think the way, like for example, Peter, like not like just full on not talking to me, and like we didn't talk game at all. So I'm not surprised about us not talking game. But like as soon as merge came, I was like, oh okay, Peter obviously isn't down to work with me at all because he's not talking to me like he did every single day. He was just trying to save his skin. But like I'm just curious, like what do you think? Like what's your? I don't know. Like if I started a dialogue with somebody, I'm gonna at least pick it up because like that's jury management, and I'm just like that's kind of like not good jury management. So I wanted to like shine a light on that and hopefully I don't know. Hopefully they learn from it. I kind of hope they don't learn from it, so like they don't get the votes. Um, but yeah, I hope that answers the question. Those were the things I was looking to accomplish with my final speech.
Very fair. I mean, it's your last kind of thing you can do in the game, so I guess that's your chance to say what you got to
Yeah,
say.
take the
Um,
table.
any other sort of final thoughts? Anyone you maybe are think like any ideas of where you think the game's gonna go at this point? Obviously, we do have uh you have that fresh information of who's coming to join you. Does that indicate
Hmm.
anything to you, perhaps? Or yeah, any thoughts just before we round up?
I'm scared. I I don't know. I'm rooting for Henry, Steven, and Andrew to do something. And I think Steven is the bridge between Gabe and those other two, Andrew and Henry. So I think Steven Steven is in a really good spot. And on top of all of that, Steven is a fucking beast. He is a challenge beast. He is brilliant. He is very tactical. He is very social. Steven plays a really good game, which I was scared to have him in the finals with me, but he burned a lot of bridges, so I should have never thought about that. But Steven plays a great game, so I am really rooting for them, and I think Steven and Andrew can be a really good duo to like dominate this game. Because Andrew has ties with Gabriel as well as Talia and somebody else I can't remember, but Andrew has a good tie with them. And Steven and Andrew both have a great read on everybody else in the game because they were producers or whatever at some point. Um, so if I had to like guess, I would say one of the two of them will be in final three. Honest to God, I think Nelson's going to be in the final three because he still has that idol. And to be honest with you, he is playing, even though I'm salty, he is playing a good game because he got me. And I don't see DeLuca making it far, even though she does have an idol. I just would imagine that they would get rid of her because she's made it second place before. She obviously is a threat and she has an idol. Um, So that's kind of like what I think is going to happen, what my reading in the rest of the game is. I probably think like the next person to be voted out probably will be DeLuca or Stanley or Nelson. Like somebody that's a huge threat, B worked with Kris, and C has the title, and two of those three people hasn't.
Great insight. I We thank you so much, EJ, for joining us. I could listen to you talk about the game all day. It's been so
Ah,
nice.
Absolutely,
Um,
same here.
but yeah, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us and conduct your exit interview.
thank y'all. This was so dope. I feel honored, honestly. I didn't, I didn't think I was doing too much, but I appreciate this. This shit is dope.
It was so fun.
Yeah, it really was.
Thank
Agreed.
you also, Nico, and thank you all for listening. We'll catch you at the next one. Bye.
Bye, guys.